Yo! Wagwan everyone, Sanju Chia here. So, before we get into it, a bit of house cleaning. So, it's Christmas Eve as of this recording, like early morning, give or take. And it's going to be such a long day, honestly. Still have work too. But yo, yeah, a bit of house cleaning. So, this will be the last video for until next week, give or take. I'll be out of studio, quote unquote. So, for this coming weekend, there will be again no live reaction to Demon Slayer or Boruto, but I will be giving my thoughts on those episodes this weekend in the community tab, so you can definitely look out for my thoughts on those episodes there. One other thing, of course, the final live stream, the end of month subscriber live stream, and of course the probably is going to be the longest live stream in, over the course of, like, compared to like last month's one, since it's the last one for the year. We'll be doing that next week, Thursday. So I haven't created the stream yet, but you can look out for that. We'll be talking about, most of the stuff that we covered throughout the year, the usual jazz and blues, so you can look out for that. It should be fun. We'll be making it extra long, probably at least 3-4 hours, so it's gonna be a fun time talking about like Black Clover, Boruto, Attack on Titan, the year in review, all sorts of madness, so it should be a fun time. But yo, all of that being said, Mushoku Tensei, the final episode for season 1, dropped like, well, last weekend, and of course I'm late to the party. So, but yo, I just love this series. So I thought it only fitting. It's only fitting that I do a reaction to this final episode for season 1. I did one for the final, well, quote unquote, episode 11. That would have been the midway point, and I did do a first impressions video to episode 1, so you can definitely check those out. But yo, Mushoku Tensei, I can't wait till season 2 starts, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they end off this first season. It should be fun. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I hope you guys are having an awesome Christmas season. Stay safe on the road, naturally, eat enough food. Since this is the last video until well, who knows, maybe I'll do something on Christmas Day, even though I'll be out of studio. Who knows, I don't know, no promises. But yo, if you don't hear it before then, if nothing comes up, then Merry Christmas. Hope you guys have an awesome day, awesome weekend, and let's get into it. Mushoku Tensei finale. Alright, here we go. So I must admit, I did check out part of the chapter, part of the manga chapter that would have taken place after last episode, but I've been hearing that the manga is like the the least liked adaptation of Mushoku Tensei, so it's like oh jeez, like, honestly, if nothing else, again, the music and the choice to just not have a conventional opening for this series and just using the opening runtime to showcase what's happening in the world, like, I think that's, like, everybody says it, like, it's an awesome decision. Kind of immerses you in the experience a bit more. And then this version of the opening being a remix essentially of opening 1. It's opening 1 still, but you know what I mean. It just sets the tone and everything, like no, yo, Rudy look crushed, dog. It's like, dog, you know, that's me waking up for work in the morning. Like, yo, camera, dog. I know that the odd thing is, like, him doesn't really look like a pushover, you see me? So the rough part is like this whole thing with Eris kind of feel like it'll push him back to square one, you see me? So that's him kind of like a mids in him head. And you can just see the parallels between, obviously, between showcasing that flashback and them transitioning back to him here in bed. Brother, the man, no, no. The man, the business more that they know, dog. And, and like, wish me could have said it's as something as simple as just like him getting heartbroken or something like that, and simple in quotations. But it's much more nuanced than that, obviously. Oh, didn't think they would show about Ryujerd. Like I was expecting to get a lot of Eris in this episode, but I wasn't expecting Rudeus. But I'm actually glad they're kind of showcasing the different aspects of how the members of Dead End and how their respective journeys are actually seemingly going, or at least starting. So that's the good part. And of course, I know some persons are probably like, honestly, I think the last episode may have been like very polarizing, but with Eris explaining with her monologue or dialogue with Gillian right now, of course, that's kind of clearing things up. But I think for the most part, most persons who have been dissecting this series would have already guessed that this is what was going through Eris's mind. That the problem wasn't never really Rudeus, but her own inadequacies essentially, and how she actually views herself in relation to actually being useful to Rudeus. So that's what it really comes down to. But I'm not gonna say it's not a black and white situation, because it's like, yeah, I honestly believe Eris could have really handled the situation a lot better, but at the same time, it's in character with Eris doing being as Eris as possible. Like, it's an Eris thing to do in terms of how she just kind of just wrote the letter, kind of, on the kind of just suddenly and just left. So it kind of seems like it's in character for Eris. I'm not saying it's, as I said, it's not really it wasn't the best move. She could have definitely handled it better. Could have definitely talked. Like, honestly, if she had talked with Rudeus about it, and I know she probably thinks that, Rudeus would have talked her out of it. So it just various different ways to look at this. Ah, how cute. But my prediction, I haven't like read the novel or anything, but I imagine by the time she links up back with Rudeus, some love triangle for Rudeus move on to some next girl or something, isn't it? I really like what they're doing here with just, because as I said, I did check out the chapter that would have taken place after the last episode, manga of course, and we didn't really get any of this, isn't it? Dog, some wildness here, so dog. Shirika. Weird amounts in it. Like, the man is also send this woman to the bottom of the ocean or something. So you see that even at once, people don't change that easily, even if they get a chance to start over. That kind of falls in line with what I was saying in my last Mushoku Tensei video in terms of what I like about it and how I was dissecting, saying that yo, even if you get the chance to start over, you'll kind of nothing can. You'll still have to, like, in the context of how it's portrayed here, with you having your memories from your previous life and everything, you're still gonna have to go out there, live, get over the mental blocks and psychological, issues that you may have had from your previous life. It doesn't mean you'll like just get out, get out of jail free card instant. You're still going to have to live and put in work and go out there and face the challenges in life, no matter what you have to do. So you just have to start living from now. So yeah, I definitely like that. I like it that it's a case where, and I like the parallels between his old and present self now. What I love is that it doesn't really seem like, it's not like a light switch where he's super motivated. No, you can still say he still has those issues mentally, but it's a wake up and take a step. Perfect title for the episode. Oh boy. Oh, Sylphie.
一言で言えば一番尊敬している人です。
Well, I did hear they'll be having a academy arc essentially, so great episode, great episode. All right, so I thought that was a pretty much the perfect ending that they could have gone with for for this series, for Mushoku Tensei episode 23 season 1 finale. No matter how you slice and dice, like the contents of this episode and like by extension this series in general, it's always been analyzing and looking at the nuances and the reading between the lines in terms of how the characters express themselves and where they're coming from, and just analyzing their developments. And episode 23, Wake Up and Take a Step, which is a beautiful title for how this episode was actually portrayed. Like, I have this thing about praise. I mean, I'm basically repeating some of the stuff I was saying in the reaction segment, where first off, starting off with the decision to basically parallel where Rudy is now to where he was in his old life, with him essentially being alone again. The split up of Dead End, Rudeus and Eris going their ways, and I guess more so Eris and how that split affected him. It kind of put him back in that mindset of, yo, I'm alone again, and it's like he's now afraid to, as the episode will put it, wake up and take that step and actually try to do something with his life. And the whole theme when they were paralleling things was, persons don't change that easily, and he didn't want to be the type of person who really isolated and put himself off. And he had his issues. As he said, he thought persons, for the most part, he was paranoid. This paranoia got the best of him essentially, and it's like Eris leaving, Rudeus leaving, it really put him back in that mindset. Hence why I said it's like, it's not as simple, quote unquote, as him having a broken heart. There's more nuance to it than that, and it's like the way they did it in terms of paralleling, it really shows. And it's just really beautiful when you really break it down and realize that there's more. This is not really a black and white situation when it comes on to Rudeus's character here going forward, and what the split up of Dead End really means and reminds him of. So that's what I really like about it. It's not black and white. And of course, as I was saying about Eris, I do agree that yes, she could have handled the situation better, but I believe the way she handled it is still within character for Eris for the most part. And I mean, if you even look at the whole situation with Orsted from a few episodes back, and everything that's led up to this point from the day Rudeus met Eris, it's only understandable. She's fallen in love with him, and she doesn't really see herself as adequate or competent as well. As she said in her letter, we're not a good match right now. So and I'm glad they took this episode to actually clear up any possible confusion on the that last episode might have caused for some audience members. Maybe like honestly, I feel confident that a lot of persons would have already dissected and figured out that Eris did what she did because it's in character for her, and she herself feels inadequate. She looks up to Rudy like this some person that's so competent and is always striving for more. But it's also interesting for us the audience who know Rudeus, even though he's doing well in this world, we know his psychological shortcomings and how he views himself, and it's showcased in this episode. It's just an interesting contrast where a lot of these characters look at Rudeus like, yo, this man had the baddest thing since sliced bread, but at the same time, like deep down, Rudeus himself doesn't genuinely see himself as super amazing. So it paints a nice contrast, and I guess it adds to that whole gray area vibe of how the situation was handled from Rudeus' standpoint and Eris' standpoint. So that it's just an interesting dynamic, I feel. And like when you even compare it to like real life, it's like situations like that do happen where like one party like misunderstands the intentions of the next party, and the next party like had the purest of intentions, and the way the initial party is looking at it, it's like definitely not that in the mind of the other party, and things get so like convoluted and like it becomes a complete mess. So I think it really reflects like real life where things aren't really black and white, especially in your interpersonal relationships. So it's just you can really dissect it, and I think that's really, this is like one of the reasons that makes Mushoku Tensei such a great series, if I do say so myself. So there's that. Of course, as I said, I did love the decision on their part. I don't know if this was the case in the light novel and the web novel, but in the manga, as I said, in the chapter right after, like in terms of continuing the events from last episode, the manga didn't really do that, and the decision for the anime to actually like show every group they met and what Ruger was also doing, and showing, well, Eris is to be expected, but I thought that was like a nice decision. And of course it ties in with the whole, this is the finale for the season, so I thought that was a good move as well. But I find it interesting though that by the end it's really his connection with Zenith that pushes him to, yo, go out, I need to find Zenith. I know it's not an intentional parallel, but it's just because his mother in his past life seemed like she really believed in him same way. So it's like the parallel between Zenith and his original mother is like I feel like they could have probably pushed that parallel a bit more. Like what really pushed him to wake up and take a step for all intents and purposes was Zenith as opposed to his original mother. Like I want to be able to explore that a bit more going forward. And I guess as they explore the dynamic between Rudeus and Zenith going forward with the series, I guess I'll get my answer to that. So there is definitely that. Janu, this is really a really great episode. Honestly. Boom. What else was I going to say? What else can I say about this? Of course, seeing Roxy and her group, setting up the dynamic for that, introducing back Sylphie in the post credits there, of course, setting up things for the next major arc. It's like there's so many moving parts to this story. It's like, you have Rudeus, you have Eris and Gillian, you have Roxy and her company going after Zenith, and you have Sylphie, and yes, as I said, there will be like an academy kind of arc where Rudeus seemingly is going to join the academy that Sylphie is at. So hopefully I'm getting Sylphie's name right. It is Sylphie, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. I might read, because I think between the events of this episode, if I put it in terms of the manga, I think it's a case where I have like, because I was kind of browsing through the chapter counts, I think I have like 20 chapters or so to read, give or take. But then again, as I said, I've been hearing that the manga version is like the most inferior version of the story, the most inferior version of the story. So novels have never really been my thing, but who knows, I might be tempted to actually read the web novel or something. But all in all, Mushoku Tensei is an amazing series, and if you made it this far in the video, respect in all aspects. I know, especially since this video is coming out late, way after this episode aired, it might not do the best in terms of viewership, but if you made it this far, respect in all aspects. And if you don't watch Mushoku Tensei, I highly recommend it. Amazing series. Again, just to kind of cement and reinforce my opinions, like between the arts, the animation, the music, the characters, and like the nuances when you read between the lines of how the characters are portrayed, developed, and characterized. It's an amazing story. Like, and you guys know, I've said it on the channel before, I don't usually, like, even if I hear that series is amazing, I don't usually jump into a series. It takes forever for me to get into something. So when something usually hooks me like this, it says something. But again, yo, Merry Christmas to one and all, because I'm not sure if I'll be putting out anything until next week. Hope you guys are having an awesome Christmas Eve, depending on if I get this up before the end of the day. And just stay safe out there, people. Respect for coming out. Leave your comments, leave a like, and Sanjay Uchiha. Happy holidays.